Welcome back to Sim Sunday, welcome back to Prepared 3D version 4.5 and welcome to a very quiet Frankfurt Main International Airport. As we continue our Bucket and Spade series, today we're off to the gorgeous Greek Island of Rhodes. And as you can see, we're making this flight on board the Aerosoft Professional Airbus A321 in the livery of Condor. To be totally honest with you, I completely forgot to screen capture SimBrief. However, we'll be departing on runway 25 center here at Frankfurt with a left-hand turn shortly after takeoff. Climbing to flight level 330 or 33,000 feet, and that is where we'll be staying for the duration of the flight. But I'm going to come back and tell you a little bit about that later and the cock-up I made when I first attempted this flight a week earlier. Our routing for this flight will initially be in the direction of Munich, then Vienna, and then down across the Balkans towards Greek airspace. We'll also be skirting Turkish airspace before making a right-hand turn and a final approach into ILS 25 at Rhodes. As you can see, the jetway is pulling back. We'll soon be asking for pushback and then we'll be on our way to the runway when I'll tell you a little bit more about the scenery that I've installed here at Frankfurt and of course when I get down to Rhodes.
Hello Captain, we are ready for pushback. Locking gear. Departure check completed, light has been inserted. Release parking brakes. Commencing push. All engines clear, start at will. Unlocking gear. Tow truck disconnected. Light has been removed. Left is clear, right is clear.
Taxiing short runway 25 center via taxiway November Tree Lima Tree Condor 159er.
It amuses me every time GSX Level 2 presents the ground handler or the dispatcher in a different accent. This time, of course, a very suspect German accent. American, of course, is the default accent used by GSX Level 2, but there are a few countries around the world where the accent changes. The UK, Scandinavia, France, Italy, and of course Australia are a few that jump to mind. However, the one that amused me the most was when I flew out of Baku in Azerbaijan a few weeks ago. The suspect Russian accent really did make me laugh. Okay, moving on to the scenery that I've got installed here and Prepared 3D version 4.5 at Frankfurt. And of course I'm using the very impressive Aerosoft Professional Frankfurt Main for Prepared. The airport is, however, normally a lot busier with lots of traffic being generated by Ultimate Traffic Live version 1.2, but it is only 5:30 AM in the morning, so I suppose it would tend to be quiet at the weekend at 5:30 anyway. When we get down to Rhodes, you will see the Rhodes airport scenery being delivered by JustSim. But it is here I'm going to shut up because I'm approaching the threshold for runway 25 center and I want to shut up and get this Airbus into the sky.
Clear for takeoff, runway 25 center, Condor 159er. Condor 159er, banks, bye-bye.
Departing runway 25 centre at Frankfurt. As you can see, I'm holding the aircraft on the runway heading, which is 248. The reason I'm doing that is the SID that has been generated by SimBrief had me doing a left-hand turn at 500 feet. I've not yet learned how to change that, so I will be asking the real Airbus pilot for a little bit of help in reprogramming the altitude where the aircraft makes a directional change in the FMC. However, as we climb out of Frankfurt, I want to tell you a little bit about the cock-up that I made a week earlier when I first recorded this flight. SimBrief had automatically given me flight level 350, and being the Sunday pilot that I am, and therefore not a professional pilot, I just accepted it and flew down towards the Balkans and Greece at flight level 350, only to have noticed the 3-ton fuel warning, which forced me to divert to Athens. So why did this happen? Why had I used so much fuel on a pretty standard flight between Frankfurt and Rhodes? It's very simple, and if I had been following the progress page on the FMC, I would have noticed that the optimal altitude was only 310, with the maximum at 330. So by climbing to flight level 350, I was burning far more fuel than I should have been. A stupid amateur mistake that I will never make again. But what this proves is these $100 add-on aircraft for prepared are as close to the real thing as you're going to get. As you can imagine, I didn't make that mistake again when I reprogrammed the flight for a second attempt at this journey from Frankfurt down to Rhodes. And it is here, when I'm passing the Munich area, I'm going to turn the cameras off and I'll come back to you once I'm into the descent for Rhodes. As I explained earlier, we would be making an ILS approach into runway 25 at Rhodes. We'd also be skirting Turkish airspace, talking to Istanbul control before talking to Dalaman approach. I'm pretty sure that a normal, or should I say a real world approach into Rhodes would bring you round the south of the island and therefore turning left onto a final approach, avoiding Turkish airspace altogether, talking to Athens control and finally being handed over to the Rhodes Tower. Right, I'm going to jump forward again as we start to make our final approach into runway 25 at the gorgeous Greek island of Rhodes.
Turn right, heading 215, descend 2100, cleared ILS, runway 24, approach, maintain 2100, go established, tower on 122.1, Condor 159er,
2,500. $500. $400. $100 above. $300. Minimum $200. $100. 50, 40, 30. Retard 10, 5.
And there you go, welcome to Rhodes. I was actually quite pleased with that touchdown. But in a minute, as we taxi into the terminal, or should I say to the stand here at Rhodes, you're going to see GSX Level 2 follow me. I noticed when I last visited Rhodes a few months ago that the scenery demands you actually get the right gate before you could order up ground services. So to save any embarrassment on this flight, I decided to order up the Follow Me truck from GSX Level 2 to guide me into the stand here at the terminal. But before I order up the Follow Me truck, it's time to turn off the landing lights, turn on the taxi lights, and of course fire up the APU before switching off the TCAS and the weather radar. And here comes that very jerky Follow Me van to guide us onto stand at the terminal. And it's here, as we follow this Follow Me van, it's time to bring another episode of Sim Sunday to an end. I hope you've enjoyed this flight in the Aerosoft professional Airbus A321 of Condor Airlines of Germany on a Bucket and Spade flight between Frankfurt and of course here in Rhodes. And of course all that remains for me to say is wherever you're flying in your virtual world, don't forget to fly safe. And if you're enjoying these videos, the best reward that the real Airbus pilot and I can get for the channel is of course your subscription.